Okay, what is the gang stalking agenda? Some people might disagree with me on this because they don't believe what I'm saying, but and that they're being gang stalked too, and then they're like, well, no, that can't be because I'm being gang stalked too, and I don't fit into that. Well, I have to say, you know, if you're in the mafia, you're going to be, it doesn't matter if you're next to the crime boss or you're at the bottom of whatever, you're just going to you're going to be living in hell regardless, right? Everyone in a gang, whatever is, in a criminal organization, like a gang stalking operation is, or a gang, it's mafia, it's whatever, right? And you're all going to be treated poorly, right? And so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, the essence of gang stalking, the agenda of gang stalking is very clear to me. So you have to look back at the beginning of it, which was about 150 years ago. Origin of the Species and the Communist Manifesto were both published in England at the same time, 150 years ago, in the same place, England. Karl Marx published in German first, the Communist Manifesto, and of course Charles Darwin was the one that he published Origin of the Species. But they were just pawns in a game. This was a bigger agenda. This was like something, it was all working. See, the essence of communism is fight with heaven and earth, control everything. So that's what gang stalking is, controlling everything, right? The false flags or whatever couldn't be accomplished without extreme gang stalking. It's fighting with heaven and earth. Humans control everything. Humans are the top of the food chain. That's how it links with Darwinism, right? But they're inseparable. So gang stalking and Darwinism, the theory of evolution, the fact that there are no missing links, they haven't found any missing links, and there should be trillions of them everywhere, not just in the fossil record, and but all around us right now, there should be trillions of missing links everywhere, right? If the theory held any water at all, but it doesn't. There's so many holes in that theory, and it should have never even been considered in the first place. Any rational person looks at the theory and goes, there's no possible way, right? But we've been so brainwashed so many times, like everybody's hypnotized by their TV and brainwashed over and over and over again, that by the time they're finished school or university especially, they're completely brainwashed and they can't even think for themselves at all. And so, but anyways, the thing is, if we don't make clear to people that there are gods and Buddhas, that there are universal laws, that we're not the top of the food chain. See, what Darwinism says is survival of the fittest, right? It's a struggle, right? That's gang stalking. Everybody, there's no if we're the top of the food chain, we're controlling everything. We have to fight with heaven and earth, and control everything. And there are no universal laws, so we can make all the rules. There are no universal laws governing morality or anything like that. And so gang stalking is Darwinism. Darwinism is gang stalking. It's communism. It's all one thing. And until we realize that, until we start saying to people, look, Darwinism is a crap theory. There's not a shred of evidence for it. I mean, I can go into that in so many ways. But I won't bother right now. It's not even worth mentioning because it's just such a dumb theory, that of course it's not possible, and of course it didn't happen that way, and of course there are gods and Buddhas that created us, or something created us. I mean, there's so much evidence for that, and so extremely zero evidence for evolution that is just. But the fact is, it's being taught in every university in the world. China, it was they taught communism and Darwinism side by side, right through. People say they taught Darwinism first and then communism. You have to destroy the belief in gods and Buddhas, and then say, yeah, we have to control everything. And then people are like, oh, it's a survival of the fittest. I have to survive. I have to join this gang, right? I have to, join the gang to survive. And there are no gods and Buddhas. That's just superstition, right? No. It's ridiculous to say we evolved from apes. Absolutely insane to say that. There's no evidence whatsoever for any of that. The only way they control everything like that is like extreme gang stalking, which is communism. Mao Zedong, where did he go to school? He went to school at Yale. Yet another learning experience. That's what Yale stands for. It's an acronym. Yet another learning experience in China, right? It was Yale in China, but it's a British American university. That's how twisted things are. That China was actually created by the U.S. I mean, the government in China was actually created by Britain and U.S. Everything's twisted. Europe's a Politburo. Everything's being controlled from Europe. And or from some extraterrestrial source, because we got all our technology from extraterrestrials, and say, maybe they're controlling everything. It seems like it. They seem to be just setting up everything so that we all kill ourselves, poison ourselves to death with nuclear radiation or whatever. But, anyways, we have to get on top of this and change. First of all, change like the education system. We're teaching kids that we evolved from apes. That's insane. Are you guys? We gotta really get on top of this today, not tomorrow. Today, we need to stop this today. And then you know what? Gang stalking will stop. Because if you believe that gods and Buddhas control everything, then you just go hands off. Let things happen, right? You have to really believe that gods and Buddhas are controlling everything. And then it'll be hands off. And you don't need the whole gang stalking BS, just like it's insane. Everything is a lie. Everything is a false flag. All the media, all the history in our history books are mostly false flags, it seems like, if you really look into it. And it's all done through gang stalking. And until we realize, wait, gods and Buddhas are controlling things, we don't have to control everything, and this is just a bunch of bullshit that's created by the people trying to survive, the survival of the fittest survivors in Europe, right? That created all this, and have been instigating it for 150 years and trying to take over the whole world and control everything through this insane theory that that there are no gods and Buddhas, and that we evolved from amoebas, So let's target evolution. Let's target this stupid theory of evolution, and start teaching what's really going on. Even just targeting evolution and getting them to reevaluate this. It shouldn't have even entered into the system ever. It should have been like 2 seconds. Wait a minute. No. You know what? There's no evidence for this. It shouldn't even be taught anywhere. I don't know how anybody ever started believing this. When you really look at evolution, you can't believe it's just so bizarre, so ridiculous. And yet it's being taught in every university in the world. It's just like our media, None of it's true, but everybody's like, oh, wow, this is happening, that's happening. No, that's all false flag. You're crazy to listen to that, but they still all listen, It's weird.